Remember the 11-day war between Israel and Hamas last year that led to Israeli Defense Forces thrashing the terror group that controls the Gaza Strip? Well, despite being thrashed, Hamas had then managed to mount a propaganda campaign against Fatah and the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. At one time, it seemed that West Bank would implode and Hamas would overtake Fatah. However, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas proved a tough nut to crack. Hi and welcome. You are watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Sanbir, and in this video I will tell you how Mahmoud Abbas stopped the West Bank from exploding. Let's begin. When it comes to perpetual wars and volatility, you can think of just one part of the world, Palestine. Israel and Palestine have been at war for a very long time. The region simply doesn't deserve to witness more bloodshed. But for Palestinians, the threat of an internal conflict, chaos, and civil war is looming large now. Mahmoud Abbas, the man who kept the Palestinian Authority-controlled West Bank intact and avoided an implosion in the region, is old and ill now. And as soon as he steps down as its president, the Palestinian Authority could face a civil war of sorts that would affect the entire West Bank region. Mahmoud Abbas had been the president of the Palestinian Authority since 2005. Now, to stay and manage an organization as volatile as the PA is not a mean task. If Abbas managed to do it, he has to be a great politician. And how do big politicians survive crisis situations? Well, trust me, statesmanship and eloquence doesn't help them tide over such situations. They tide over such situations through unthinkable diplomatic equations. Abbas himself had managed to isolate Hamas by taking a pro-Israel stance to maintain peace. Now, who would have thought that Fatah and Jerusalem could find something in common? This is what made Abbas a shrewd political leader, and this is exactly how he managed to outplay Hamas. By the end of the 11-day Gaza war last year, Hamas had managed to form a new political narrative. Hamas portrayed itself as the protector of Palestinians and showed Abbas as a spineless man whose government was submissive before Israel at best and complicit at worst. At one point, an extremist Hamas seemed set to overtake a moderate Fatah. Any attempt by Hamas to oust Fatah from West Bank would have witnessed bloodshed and violence. However, Abbas was able to manage the situation peacefully. He took a pro-Israel stance and cooperated with Jerusalem to choke funding to Hamas, cracked the whip on his critics, and even struck a deal with the US. Israel and the US too found it strategically beneficial to support a moderate Fatah and sideline an extremist Hamas. Palestine in general and West Bank in particular were thus saved from rampant violence. Abbas is, however, 86 years old now, and he has also been in power for 17 long years. He is suffering from ill health and is preparing the ground for his successors to take over. However, as and when he hangs his boots, Palestinian Authority will face a huge vacuum that could lead to pitched battles between different factions that could easily escalate into a civil war. Abbas is himself pushing two of his close confidants as his likely successors, Majid Faraj, head of the Palestinian General Intelligence Service, and Hussein al-Sheikh, the Palestinian Authority's Civil Affairs Minister. But the problem is that while they have the backing of the PA president, Faraj and Sheikh do not enjoy much ground-level popularity. Mohammed Dalan, an Abbas rival on the other hand, has a lot of popularity. Dalan is particularly popular in the refugee camps in West Bank and Lebanon, where he pumps money to gain influence, which is later used in arms purchased by the beneficiaries. This has ramped up his popularity in West Bank. Dalan has set up several power bases, including in Jenin, in the Balata refugee camp, the Kalandia refugee camp near Jerusalem, and the Al-Amari camp near Ramallah. The sharp divisions in West Bank politics and power politics could easily lead to an era of riots and civil wars. The Palestinian Authority does hold elections, but when muscle power is involved, polls don't really matter. Abbas had managed to keep West Bank together all this while. Now he is nearing retirement, and therefore we are once again looking at the prospect of rampant violence and deadly civil war in the Palestinian Authority-governed West Bank.